Okay, there is a girl or a woman who's trapped in an 8-year-old's body, right? So she had cancer, they beat the cancer, but it destroyed a part of her brain that supposedly develops growth. So she's trapped as an 8-year-old. And so when I first saw it, I was like, all right, whatever, you're still 20, 21, 22, whatever. That's our legal system. And it's very interesting in that in various videos, depending on which one you watch, basically the overlying issue, without going into finite details, is that she wants to do things because they are age appropriate. I've narrowed it down that she still has an 8-year-old's brain. The brain has never developed. And so there are a lot of people that if you derive an IQ relativistic structure that based on IQ and body age and all these other little variables, the whole thing kind of goes into what is acceptable based on what adults do. So this girl wants to experience sexuality. She wants to wear more revealing clothes. And whether or not that's all socially biased on, like, I don't know, like celebrity figures and stuff like that, the real question is, I had it all figured out and I'm forgetting it again. So you have this cognitive structure, right? So prodigies develop very young too. And their brain is more capable than an adult. So coercion. You have coercion of this is the point I wanted to make about coercion. So if you can coerce a young girl who wants to experience what adults do, and you call them a criminal, but then you have a person with this, well, it's an exceptionally rare case. Don't get me wrong, but yet it's still foundational to some concepts that if you want to coerce people at a young age into things, and we kind of value capitalism because we can coerce people after they reach a certain age. But realistically, there is a cognitive correlation and a cognitive relativistic algorithm to what it means to have a certain, you know, neurological structure. So, if it's illegal to coerce an 8-year-old into sex, but an 8-year-old that's never, I know it's weird to say because, listen, I have no fear for the shit I talk about. That I remember being 8, 9, and 10, and there was a couple girls that were promiscuous. I mean, I don't know what they did outside of school, but they just naturally have that. So you have this thing, like, if you can be a prodigy for playing violin, you could be a prodigy for sexuality. And so coercion, though, if you can coerce a young mind, and that's illegal, because you never know if they're going to regret it later in life, right? How many things have I done as a child that I enjoyed? Typically, the things that I liked and loved as a child, I still like and love. That's just me particularly. But there are a lot of people that grow out of it. So they're like act your age sort of people. And if you coerce people in that concept, but there are a lot of people that have the same relativistic cognitive structure that can't do the critical thinking, shouldn't it then be illegal to exploit less intelligent people for personal and profitable gains? or sexual or physical. I don't know. But for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of dumb women out there. Don't get me wrong, I mean, they're pretty fucking dumb. If you're gonna go and have a bunch of fucking alcohol, you put yourself in the environment and the potential intellectual state that you will accept things that you would not sober. I mean, that just comes with alcohol. Like, why are you drinking if you don't want to lose control? It, I guess now everybody who hands a beer to a female, my hair, it's a beer to a female, has to be like, you might lose control of yourself. Don't blame me for putting part of me into part of you. I don't know. Anyway, so the whole point of why I was making this video is the consideration of coercion in a relativistic and social and sociopathic structure. How do we understand coercion? Because even doctors do it. Everybody fucking does it. You have doctors which are highly educated that will coerce you into. I guess I'm coming to that because I was rewatching Scrubs. Scrubs has a series of episodes that where the practice is trying to compete with. So you have surgeons competing with general practice, regular doctors, or whatever they're called, internal, I don't know. Anyway, that you have these people who are trying to coerce a patient into either receiving surgery or alternative solutions. I'm not using proper terms. However, it's more about the legality of coercion. This is a huge issue. We create this overlying thing that just because your body's a certain age or your brain's a certain age, that it's open game. And then we expect people of a higher intellectual capacity to have some sort of moral and ethical fiber to themselves. That they're gonna, learn, analyze, and acknowledge these things. So at what point does it become righteous to win? If you give somebody the opportunity to lose, if they lose, where are they? Where and when and why did you exploit them? And where does it become the same sort of coercion based on this girl who represents a 21-year-old, 8-year-old, because her brain's never really fully developed, that now we can all of a sudden coerce women simply because it is more mature, right? Act your age sort of thing. That implies that there's never really been a book written like, this is how you be 20, this is how you be 21. I think the last bitches, and I mean bitches, they told me, can't we just be 30-year-olds now? I'm like, what? When you finally fucking develop a heart, it'll be too late. Now, what did I mean by that? It means that without hearing the backstory, why I call these women bitches, and yet I still hold on to some sort of emotional state for them, that, and it's reasonability, right? So it's reasonable that by the time they develop a heart, it already means that, like, one, I'm probably never gonna fucking change. And two, they're never gonna be capable of even grasping it. which means that I'm already left in conflict with people who are not intelligent enough, and I'm coercing their future into conceptualizing what I meant at that moment. Hmm. See, that's where you need the seven dimensions, paradoxes, because this sort of analysis is very complicated. It is extremely complicated. But then by the time you're doing that, people generally don't, they can't think like that. They do. I don't know.